We are Gathering of the Geeks, a podcast and a YouTube channel built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag We Gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one about Chris and Emmet, a Mad Max saga. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso of my coach beard, Chris Evans. Chris, are you aware that we do a show on Sundays? Because it feels like it's been 6 months since we've done a show.
It always does, doesn't it? I think we missed 2 weeks. It's been a busy
2 weeks, yeah.
We had Father's Day, and then I had the plague.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was why last week was canceled.
Yep, that's right.
It was a blur. Yeah, it always feels like months when we don't have a show.
Mm-hmm. I was preparing myself to cancel this show because it's Canada Day long weekend here. It's Canada Day tomorrow. And we were hoping, my family and I were planning on being out of town, but the weather isn't the nicest, so we're not. We're just at home. So thankfully, we're not taking a third week off in June.
We could have. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.
It was nice seeing you for a minute. What kind of weather do you guys got going on?
It's just cold. Like there's no sun.
Cold.
It's just like rainy.
Oh.
I have to look it up here for you. 16 degrees.
I was driving
Celsius.
earlier, and the temperature in the car said 105.
Yeah, it's like 60 here today in your temperature.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm slowly melting.
Yeah. Melting.
That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Phil? What's up, Anthony? Aaron, how you guys doing on this fine Sunday and Monday? Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So just search for Gathering of the Geeks and you'll find us right then and there. Chris, yes, we've been off for a little while. So I know I have a list of things that I've watched and a minimal amount of things that I read.
Yes.
But what about you? what about you? Yeah, that's right. We'll talk
together.
About,
we burn.
Yeah,
let's start with
talk about some regular stuff. We have a poll to talk about. But what you been up to the last little while?
So as you know, I've been on a hiatus from reading, but I haven't brought the book closer to me in the pile just so I can grab it. Well, it's close enough anyway. I finally read The Crow, and I have this beautiful edition of it. We're doing a show and tell, by the way, just because I love the way this thing looks. Yeah,
I've got my book right beside me too, so we're good to go.
It's a badass book because it's a special edition, so there's a lot of it's like a foreword that I'll be honest, I read half of it. It was really long. I was like, I just want to get to the story. And then there's like an epilogue that's also like it's not part of the story. It's just, hey, thanks for reading. And it was also too long, so I skipped that too. But the story is great. This is, I've loved the movie since I saw it as a kid in '94. And I don't even think I fully understood the movie as a kid when I saw it. But it was just instant love for me. And I always said I would read the book. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And then at some point, I thought I knew the changes. And I'm like, well, it's minimal changes. I don't really need to read the book. But then the trailer for the new movie came out. And I was like, it's time. It's time. And thus begun the quest to get this hardcover because you were on the journey with me. It was constantly sold out unless I wanted to pay like $50 and up. And I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want to. So I finally got it. It is wonderful. It's a lot darker than the movie, surprisingly. It's also pretty different. Eric and Shelley's death scene is, I would say, more gruesome in the book. It's actually kind of hard to look at in a way. And I guess I understand why they went with what they did for the movie because it was a sign of the times. And it's close enough, I guess. It's close enough. But the book is different enough, I think, to warrant a read. And the character of Eric is a different beast as well. Like in the movie, he is part of a band, of course, and he's very 90s. In the book, he's just a mechanic doing what he does. So that was different. He doesn't even pick up a guitar in the entire book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's a panel where he walks by a guitar. It's like, oh, okay, this is where he gets the guitar, like in the movie.
Sure.
He doesn't.
Weird.
Yeah, it's an odd little change, but I guess, again, it fits with the times of the early 90s. You have a rock and roll superhero. Why not?
Sure.
Even the villain's not top dollar. Top dollar's in it, but he's not the main villain. So, that might be a spoiler. I don't know.
I think we're fine, Chris. That's
I think the book was like 86,
20 years
85.
ago.
The book is as old as I am.
Yeah.
And also the special edition has some stuff James O'Barr originally took out of the original story. So that's kind of cool too. You get that back. But it's actually out of order. So the book, like many other trades, is in chapters because of how the books were originally released. So in this, it goes from book 1, 2, and then book 5. So 3 and 4, for whatever reason, are in the back of the book. So if anybody picks this up tomorrow, let's say, keep that in mind. You're gonna want to, if you can, skip from 2, go to the back of the book, find book 3, read that and 4, and then go back to where you were.
Why do you think they made that choice?
I have no idea, because when you're reading it, I didn't know that. So when I was reading it as is, like, well, where's the rest of the book? It feels like chunks are missing. Like you can feel this isn't right, but I didn't know that they were at the end of the book, or else I would have skipped ahead. It's really weird. I don't know why it was done this way. It's probably in that foreword, if I had to guess.
It's all explained in there somewhere.
I did read some of it that mentioned he didn't have the resources to finish the pages at the time, but I don't know if he really meant those, because those pages look like the rest of the book.
Okay.
So I don't know, but either way, The Crow is a fantastic read. I highly recommend the special edition. And again, skip to the other parts of the book so you have the full story, because it's weird without
it. Yeah. What about, so you mentioned the top dollars in it, but not the same. Are there other characters that are like that, or?
No, the other, well, yeah, T-Bird is a little different. But for the most part, the characters are as you know them. Albright is not the main cop. He's in it, but he's not the version we see. And Sarah is not in the book at all. There's a character like Sarah, but not Sarah. Like there's not a lot of interaction and stuff. It's a different beast.
Which one do you prefer story wise? The movie.
I would say I love them equally.
Yeah.
And there is enough. Like if you wanted to do a straight adaptation of the book, I think you totally could.
Yeah, I was wondering why the change. Why the it sounds like drastic change for some stuff.
Yeah, they added some stuff, make it more relatable, I suppose. And then you get the Sarah in there just to attract the children, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not really sure. The villain change is kind of what caught me off guard. Like, well, why would they change top dollar?
Yeah.
Or I mean, T-Bird, I should say. Why would they do that? It's different. I'm glad I finally read it, though.
Yeah, I'm glad you found it.
Now I can continue my goal of becoming a Crow super fan.
What about the art style? What do you think of that? The older book?
That's a getting used to, because it's not like I love classic art, that kind of ugly, heavy lines kind of look. This is not that. This is like 80s pop art.
Oh yeah.
And some of it is weird looking. Like the consistency in the faces, depending on how they're positioned. Sometimes they have very round heads with giant eyes. It's something to look at.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to send you some pictures of it later, because it was very off-putting at the start, but then you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
James did this himself. He was sad at the time. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Right on.
That's all I read.
That's it. I guess I'll talk about an older book too, because I didn't read too much new. Wonder Woman 10 came out, I think it was last week. It's still very good. I don't think I got to too much else that was new. I was trying to look back that was released over the past couple of weeks, and I don't think there was anything. There was one or two that I had bought, but there's not much that I had read. The one thing that I have been reading, though, is Sex Criminals from Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. The compendium was released a few weeks ago. So I got that book. And I think it was a couple of years ago, I had read the first maybe the first arc or whatever. Now I'm about 3/4 of the way done. It's funny to think about Chip Zdarsky not as a writer, but just as an artist on this book, which is fun. And I haven't really read much of anything from Matt Fraction. I know he's pretty popular for his Hawkeye run
That's why I
that he
don't
did
remember.
for Marvel. Yeah, and I don't like. I really don't know what else he's done. I think he did Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, the newer ones, which I have those, and I remember liking those. I'm pretty sure he wrote that. But Sex Criminals, the complete edition here. It's a nice pink and very flamboyant book. So it's fun when I took it out to, I don't know, we had like a family get together at my cottage lake house, whatever we were calling it, I can't remember now. And I had this like on the like the coffee table and trying to
Like you
explain
do.
sex. Yeah, trying to explain Sex Criminals to my mother, and my aunt and uncle is always a fun idea.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
yeah, exactly.
I have to like
But
that. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. I say people have sex, they freeze time and rob banks, and in general, that's what the book is.
If that were on
Uh,
the cover, I would read it.
um,
Anthony also says he loves sex criminals.
it says here, have sex, stop
Oh,
time,
all
rob
right. Well, I
banks.
guess I got to read it now.
Uh,
I did
it's
that.
funny
I
too
did that
because
one to myself.
there's a quote, like usually like there's a quote about how good the book is or whatever,
Mhm.
and this is from Matt Fraction's dad. It says, "Hey, with this thing, you're putting food on your family's table. There's no shame in that."
That's
So
funny.
like it's a very funny book. It's obviously very sexualized. It's very much just a lot about relationships, but then there's like weird science fiction-ness to it with the stopping of the time, and there's like a police squad that monitor these type of criminals who stop time with sex and cause crime and rampages and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very funny book, very emotional, and I'm just happy that I have it in a complete edition now. So I think it was, Anthony says he likes Sex Criminals. I highly recommend it for many of people who are looking to, read an older comic. It's really not that old. But if you're not into the new stuff, just pick up something else, something old.
It's also good to
This
have
one's
like
highly
some
recommended.
variety.
Yeah, exactly. If you're you're not into the superhero stuff, this is another one of those books. And it's funny how Chip Zdarsky is like that. Like he obviously drew this book, but then he's got Public Domain
Mhm.
that he did, but then he does like heavy cape stuff with Daredevil and Batman and like the biggest of and heaviest hitters. But he does lots of variety. That's what also I love about the Sex Criminals books. So yeah.
Some writers and artists, they can do that. They can bounce back and forth, but I think it also
Hmm.
depends how much reign they're given with a certain character. Like
Hmm.
Rom V, as we've talked about before, they just let him do whatever he wants. I'm not reading it. I know you're not reading it. That
Yeah.
one has just passed us by, and we both love Rom V.
Yep.
But then like Chips doing Batman, it's like, hey, this is cool, and he does
Yeah.
everything else, and that's cool. If I see Chip's
Yeah.
name on something, I'm probably gonna pick it up.
That's pretty much it. It's just like, okay, I'll give that a chance,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the name. And if you
I
have a
kind of
writer
too.
that, yeah, exactly, and they just do so much, like they're
Mm-hmm.
not stuck in one lane, which is pretty cool.
It is cool. Um,
Yeah.
Aaron says he read Get Fury #2 and Daredevil, of course. Am I reading Vengeance and Moon Knight? Um, yes, but I am behind because I am not lazy, but I don't know. I've just kind of been on comic strike. But I will pick
Mhm.
it up. And also, I know the new issue, I think it was issue 0. Is it called Fist of Khonshu? That came out, I think, this week, which
Mm.
is sort of interesting to me because of what it is. So we'll see.
It's something different than Vengeance.
Yeah, he
Mm.
so Blood Hunt is going on. That's the Marvel
Right.
event, which
Hmm.
ironically I don't like vampires and comics crossing over. I don't know why. It's
It
like
was like the DC did that, or DC versus
yeah, and
vampires,
I
or whatever
didn't
it is.
didn't
Yeah.
really work for me. Marvel
Hmm.
doesn't really either. Like if it's
Hmm.
Blade doing it, if that's his thing, I'm cool with it. But when I
Hmm.
have like I don't know Captain America fighting Dracula, like this isn't for me. But anyway,
Hmm.
so Blood Hunt's going on, and Khonshu is helping, and he resurrects Mark Spector. So Mark's back.
He's back, baby.
And he's back, which makes me think the other one is not around anymore. I don't know. I have to catch up.
Yeah, something's going to happen there. It's going to be a convergence of
I don't
the
remember who the other
two
guy
books of some
is.
kind. Oh,
I
yeah,
s-
see here, Fist of Khonshu number 0.
oh, Fist of Concho. Okay, I thought is that what thought it was called?
That's out this week.
Oh, this week. Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
that. So I will probably make room for it.
Because there's a new series starting in October.
Yes, and
Right.
Jed McKay is sticking around. Jed McKay is just Mr.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. He is Mr. Knight.
Yeah, like he seems that's what it seems like. He ain't going anywhere.
He's really good at it. Like he's taken
Yeah.
a character that gets thrown around to other writers. Sometimes it sticks for a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't. He has
Mm-hmm.
been so consistent with it. Like this is your guy.
Yeah.
Maybe write something for the MCU.
Yeah.
Give Oscar Isaac something decent to do.
Uh-huh.
What else did you read?
That's pretty much it for my reads. I think last time I talked about I got a whole bunch of books
Mm-hmm.
from my comic shop, and I think I read a whole bunch. Like I caught up on, or I finished the Zorro book
Oh, do you
from
like that?
Sean Murphy. Yeah, it's great. I really loved it.
The first issue is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really good. So I got caught up on that, and I got caught up in a bunch of distillery books, and I think I talked about that. That's so whatever show that was. Like we haven't been on for 2 weeks, so that would have been the week before that one. So not much as reading has been happening on my side of the world as well.
Does anyone know if you missed the Twisters discussion? Yes.
Yeah,
We already
it
felt
lasted
it. We
all of
chased
5
it.
seconds. Yeah.
We felt it. We chased it. We're good.
Moving on.
Now we're on the hunt for Bill Paxton. We got to find him. He's in the what was that thing the Flash was in the movie? It's not called the Flash Bowl. What was it called?
Yeah, the time world thing that he was in, where
The
everything
thing with
was.
Nicolas Cage and like
Yeah,
the
I don't know
weird
where that.
digital Henry Cavill for no reason.
I have no idea.
That thing. The Chrono Bowl. Oh, I think it was called Speed Force. What is Chrono
The
Bowl?
Speed Force.
Did I
That
make
makes
that up?
sense.
I might have made that up. Chrono Bowl. It just sounds fun. Well, on to the watches then.
Yeah.
Anthony watched The Bear season 3, which was phenomenal. Kinds of Kindness, which is typical Yorgos. I can't pronounce his name, but he's cool.
Yorgos.
Yeah, good old Yorgos. I enjoy it, but mileage may vary. Typical Yorgos. I've been trying to get to it. I haven't had time, and also it's 3 hours roughly. It's 2 hours 44 minutes, and at theaters here, the movie doesn't even start until 30 minutes after the showtime, which makes Kinds of Kindness a 3.5 hour ordeal for me. And I just have not had the time, and it's kind of killing me because I need to see what that movie is.
Mm-hmm. So where is it to you geographically? It's not. Is it at your regular theater, or is it at something else?
No, it's at all most of the local AMC's, which is what I go to. Okay. Most of them have, but they all have. I can never catch the 7 o'clock as the issue, so I'm left with like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So I'm like, it's not going to work for me.
Nice.
Anthony also rewatched X and Pearl on the big screen in anticipation for Maxine at fan events. And you're on the Maxine train now, aren't you? You have joined
Apparently
us.
so. Apparently I am.
I don't have a clip to play of that GIF. I like One of Us.
Yeah.
Maybe we have something. Do we have it?
Yeah. The Maxine trailer, the more you watch it, the more it hooks me.
I think it's gonna be special. But I gotta be honest, Long Legs is kind of taking some of the attention for me. Just because I have no idea what Long Legs is. It seems very creepy, and the marketing is so in your face. Like you keep seeing this stuff, and now you keep seeing the reviews, and it's hard to say. Well, it's hard to ignore it, I guess. Aaron saw A Quiet Place Day 1, quite good. I will get to that. I've only seen the first movie though, which this is a prequel, so it doesn't matter. Can you feel it? Yeah, after 30-minute showtime here, it's insane. It really is like, who has time for 4 hours?
No one.
The Bear 3 season 3 was incredible. I agree. Although even though it was 10 episodes, it felt like half a season story-wise. The to be continued at the end hurt. Did you finish the Bear season 3 yet?
No, only got, I think, 4 episodes, and I'll be watching the rest, or most of the rest of it tonight. I watched a whole bunch Thursday night, and then we did some family stuff on the weekend, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Also, I wanted to read this from Zeddy. Great video you posted earlier in the week, by the way, Emmet. Cool place you seem to have. First time I think I've seen someone I know through podcasting links.
What's he talking about, my legs?
He's talking about the video. Of
because it's, yeah.
Which
you see me, yeah, I'm outside, too.
We should post that on the Gather the Geeks Twitter so everybody could take a look at it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Zeddy. I appreciate it.
Especially if you like breweries, which I mentioned earlier in the year. I think my new goal is to wear more plaid and listen to Dave Matthews Band and go to breweries. So that video kind of hit home for me. Ian says, presumed Instant on Apple has been decent. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, so
with
now
your boy, with your Batman. It's with your boy, with your Batman.
He is gonna. It's him or Glenn Powell. I'm telling you, it's one of them. I feel it. I'm chasing it.
Yeah,
it's one of them. Probably Glenn Powell.
Yeah,
but Jake's a great Two-Face substitute or the Joker. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I watch a lot of shit. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So I did TV over the last little while. I guess maybe starting off with House of the Dragon. Chris, I know you're not watching it for various reasons. I am watching it. And it's 2 episodes in, and I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it. There's obviously the craft of the show is very good. It looks very good. I think the acting is very good. But I'm not feeling any of the characters, not a single character I am invested in, care about. And maybe that's because there's a presumption, and even if you know a little bit about the story, obviously all these people are going to die in some horrible fashion. So it could be that, or it could be just like, I don't think there's a good character to root for, versus obviously Game of Thrones, where there is a lot of characters to root for. Jon Snow, Robb Stark, Ned Stark, that kind of thing. And even later seasons with like Tormund and Brienne. Like there's a lot of those characters. And in House of the Dragon, I don't feel that I care about any of the characters. I also am not digging all the, I don't even know, like if it's not weirdness, but it's just weird choices that the characters are then making, that could be purposeful. Like I am supposed to think it's annoying and frustrating, but I'm not really sure. But I'm not invested. I don't feel the connection to House of the Dragon after two episodes of the second season, and it was a struggle after the first season trying to be invested in these characters, because Chris, you and I talked about it when you were watching it. Like these, they're selling us on this incest, and they're selling us on the cousins and the cousins and the sisters and the sisters, and it's just like that's just too much. Just too much for me. So I am going to keep watching it. I watch it with my wife, so it's kind of just like our thing. I am interested to see, like, again, I already kind of know where the story goes. So kind of like, it's like us when we're, maybe when we're watching Interview with the Vampire, you're looking for where they're going to change something. They're going to give us something. Aha. So I'm interested in that. But if you're looking for a rave review of House of the Dragon over the next, I think there's only 8 episodes this season, over the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks, the Gathering of the Geeks is not the place to come, because this will probably be the last time that I do talk about it, unless they really do turn my tide and get me to care and like the show a lot more.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah,
but I mean, we were
love it though, so it could be just me. I don't know.
Well, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but didn't we think that House of the Dragon picked up in the last couple episodes in the first season? I could have sworn there was like a shift in quality, but it wasn't enough. It was like too little, too late.
It might have been when they switched the Rhaenyra character, when they did the time jump.
That was like a few episodes. I thought it was just like the last 2 episodes or something. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't care to go back.
Yeah.
I just, if it's not like mainline Game of Thrones, I don't think I care.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks that you're not enjoying it and you're kind of just watching it anyway.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right?
That's fair. It happens.
Yep, it does. So yeah, I'm not digging House of the Dragon, but what I am digging, and I've always dug through all of the seasons so far, is The Boys on Amazon Prime. I haven't watched the newest episode, which I think is episode 5. I think I'm only up to episode 4, but I love this show.
Mhm.
I love the ridiculous nature of it. I like the gruesomeness, the over the top stuff, but I also love in this season particularly, going heavy on political commentary, social commentary, which has always been pretty strong with the show. I'm a huge Carl Urban fan. Anthony Starr as Homelander has been doing outstanding work this season, particularly in the last episode that I saw. I think you guys on DC Unlimited talked about Anthony Starr in the first something.
Did we?
Can't remember who. I think it
maybe
was
Booster
Anthony.
Gold.
Yeah, or yes. So I was thinking
Booster
about
Gold.
that, and there was a moment in episode 4 where he almost does some Joker things, which I think would be pretty interesting. But he could be in anything, and I would hope, when I was listening to you guys talk on DC Unlimited, I hope DC gets him for something, because I think he could be a lot of things. I think he'd be a good Two-Face, a good Harvey Dent, anything like that. So Anthony Starr, like I didn't know him before this show. I barely really know him now. I don't really see him in anything else other than The Boys, but he is so good in the role as Homelander.
He's in Cobweb.
Oh, that's the horror movie that no
Mhm.
one liked.
It is
Apparently,
okay.
yeah.
They said
Yeah. So
superhero.
yeah, maybe. And I'm up for anything. I just think Anthony Starr he's going to become a star. He's going to become a household name, I think. The more that The Boys go on, and I think if he gets picked up into something more mainstream per se, because The Boys ain't that.
No, it is very niche, I would say. Ian says, I think House of Dragon has been fantastic. Other than The Bear, I think it's the best thing on TV. But have you watched Interview with the Vampire? As for The Boys, I lost interest in Gen V, and I'm starting to feel the same way with Boys. But have you watched Interview with the Vampire yet? Aaron says, no, stay away from Marvel or DC, stay as Homelander. Well, I think it's ending, though.
Yeah, one more season after this one, Aaron. So he's going to have to go somewhere.
He's going to need a job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could also play new Steve Rogers, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ian, your comment's funny because I'm completely on the opposite side aside from The Bear. With Gen V, I became more invested in the universe of The Boys after that show. I actually like Gen V more than any of the seasons of The Boys so far. So I think that's quite interesting. So then the other thing that I've been watching is The Bear, which I haven't finished it yet. But it is the best show on TV, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's just so incredible. Much like I said with House of the Dragon, like the craft of the show is on another level. The acting is incredible. The writing is awesome. And the way that the story is unfolding it kind of keeps you guessing as you go about, where Carmi and all the people who work at the restaurant are going, where the restaurant's going to go. And the season 3 premiere, and I tweeted this, it was like the most beautiful television that I'd ever seen. It was very minimal dialogue in the episode. It had kind of a musical vignette played from the start to the finish. And it kind of, like, after the ending of season 2, it was like, okay, let's calm everything down before we blow the roof off this thing and everything goes batshit crazy again. So it was like a nice calming, cooling episode, which when you're watching it, you like, I felt the message they were trying to get across. I can't wait to watch more because I know there's a bunch of cameos. Josh Hartnett's in the first.
Is that a big thing for The Bear, cameos?
Yeah, after the second season where they did a dinner scene where Jamie Lee Curtis, Bob Odenkirk, John Mulaney were all there as part of the main family.
Okay.
So I think that's a thing. And Olivia Colman's in season 2. The guy that plays the guy in in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Adam Warlock. What's his name? He plays what's his name in Star Wars too. Cal Kestis.
No, that's the same guy.
Isn't that the same guy?
That's Cameron something. No, the guy.
Oh, that's the guy from
Adam Warlock is the guy
Shameless.
from We're the Millers who gets bit by the spider.
Yeah, whatever that guy's name is.
I don't know, but that guy.
He's in season 2 as well. So yeah, I think it's a thing, and I think they got some more for season 3. Obviously, Josh Hartnett's in one episode so far.
Cool.
Yeah, Will Poulter. That's it. Thank you, Ian. He's he's in it.
I like Will Poulter. He was actually a Pennywise before Bill Skarsgård. Fun fact.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I like Bill.
Oh, me too, 100%.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Listen, what's that kid's name? Cameron what?
It's
Cameron Monaghan?
Is it Monaghan?
You put Cameron Monaghan and Will Poulter beside each other. You tell me that I didn't, that's not a fair mistake.
I don't know if it is.
All right, screw you, moving on.
We're going to have to do that later because I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I think Cameron Monaghan. I think Gotham myself. I don't really think Cal Kestis.
Oh, is what's his name?
Is Jerome or Jeremiah, whichever version you want to go with.
Mm-hmm.
Ian says the Jamie Lee Curtis episode this season is beautiful. Have you got to that one?
I didn't know she was in it this season. So Ian's just ruined it all, the bear for me all over tonight. The to be continued and Jamie Lee Curtis now. So I love the bear. I'm gonna hopefully finish it very shortly, and we'll talk about. I think we're gonna talk about Furiosa a little bit closer to the end, Chris. So what'd you get up to?
I watched a lot of shit.
Good.
I've been watching a lot of Ghosts, that sitcom. That's funny. I've been enjoying that. I've watched Interview with the Vampire a lot. Been doing that. That's kind of been my happy series, if you will. But we talk about that a lot on Tuesdays. I want to talk a bit about The Acolyte for a minute. I know Ian's talking about it in the comments a little bit here too. Oh, you got called a plonker. Have you ever been called a plonker before?
No, that's some kind of English thing.
It is. I've been called a plonker, and I've actually been shown the clip that it's from. So they have this show. Ian, you'll have to help me out here. It's I think it's called For Horses or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hilarious to the English, and I've tried watching clips of it. I personally don't get it, but plonker is pretty funny. We're all plonkers. What was I saying? The Acolyte, yes. Only Fools and Horses. I was close. That was called Four Horses, like the Four Horsemen, not the Ric Flair one. So The Acolyte is a weird show because I think. Have you seen any of it yet? I don't remember.
Nope. No, haven't seen a single thing.
Disney has this thing where they think everything should be a TV series and everybody should just do what they want. You know what I mean? And that's cool and all, but not everything needs to be a series. And when you're dealing with a franchise that is worth so much and means so much to so many people, I think you got to rein in certain aspects and things about it. Particularly, I don't think it's a good idea to have your cast being antagonistic toward fans. And that's one thing.
Like on social media, they're doing that, you mean?
Well, no, like in interviews, they just don't come off as friendly. And then they they're kind of like, they seem like they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Star Wars, which I personally don't care. If you're in a movie about an established franchise, you don't need to know everything there is to know. That's fine. But I also think they should just rein in some things, And when it comes to the content of it, it's kind of like the first 3 episodes could have been a single hour in a 2-hour film. But they stretched it out.
How long were they? Sorry.
Like 30 to 40 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
And not all the information is even important. So you could have just cut that down to an hour, And I'm actually with Phil here too. Star Wars should never have gone to TV. I think Mandalorian is a different case because of what it is, but like Boba Fett, I don't think should have been a thing. I haven't watched Andor, but the two or three episodes I did see were like, okay,
Mhm.
this is fine, but why is it X amount of episodes? Obi-Wan, I think only needed to be 3 episodes. Ahsoka, which I actually loved, I thought
Mhm.
Ahsoka is fantastic. Also, could have been a 2.5 hour movie.
Mhm.
And Disney keeps doing this. And I
Mhm.
think they need to see or realize this shouldn't be the norm. We need to go back to film. You know what I mean? And the thing about it also is the story of the Acolyte is kind of is pretty cool. I think at the base of it, you have the twins separated Jedi. You have some Sith stuff going on. It's cool, but because you're dragging it out, it's not fun.
Mhm.
Like the last episode is essentially just action for 35 minutes, and that's awesome. But the previous 2 episodes kind of just string you along on these small plot points that again introduce something cool, but not enough to hold an episode.
How many episodes is out now?
I think there's 5 out right now, 4 or 5.
Hmm.
Um, Ian says the Acolyte has its moments, but for a $180 million show, it feels pretty cheap and soapy. You're right. The antagonistic cast is problematic. The writing and dialogue is pretty poor. Action is good. There you go.
Hmm.
And I don't hate the show. I think it's got some cool stuff in it. Like I said, I'm going to keep watching it, but it's missing something. And I think stringing it along is not helping. I don't care about the noise outside the show as much as other people
Mhm.
do.
You're
I
right.
don't care.
Mhm.
But I just care about the actual quality of the show itself, and that's where I take issue.
So you feel like because it is a TV show and not a movie, there's stuff in there that
Fluff.
shouldn't be,
I
and
think it's
like stuff
fluff.
is and like the dialogue, the writing is getting just stretched a little bit too thin.
Yes.
Hmm.
I think that, and they're just not like, okay, well, this needs to be this length, so just edit it however you want.
So it's just the like obviously TV shows are great, like they can be great. So it's not because like it's I'm just trying to it's not because it's a TV show. It's because what? Because the writers aren't good.
I think
Like
it's a mixture of the writers are maybe not that great, and the
mm,
writers were also told stretch it.
okay.
You
So
have
the
to make it
concept of the show,
is cool.
yeah,
I
okay.
like the concept.
Hmm.
I really like the idea of the twins. I think the main actress is really good as both twins.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually I think a high point of the show. I think
Mm-hmm.
most of the actually all the characters are pretty cool. I don't have a problem with any of the characters,
Mm-hmm.
but the writing just doesn't support the concept, and the format does not support the concept. Star Wars needs to go back to movies.
Yeah, that's not a. I'm trying to figure out when that started to be a thing. But
Mandalorian.
that's yeah, like the second season of Mandalorian or the third season of Mandalorian when people were like, wait a second, like why isn't Star Wars the event it should be anymore?
Yeah, and like
Um,
I personally thought season 2 of Mandalorian was not as great, but the ending saved it. Like that finale is untouchable in my opinion. But then we get Boba Fett, and I was like, oh, okay. And then Obi-Wan, which again I love, but it only needed 3 episodes. Ahsoka, I love, probably didn't need all the episodes. Yeah, I agree. Kenobi should have been a movie. So he says, I feel like the Acolyte was also just misinterpreted, mismarketed. It's not so much a story through the Sith point of view, it's another recycled revenge redemption story with 2 sisters. That's another thing. I thought this was a different beast, but that's not bothering me as much because I still like the story itself. Aaron says Disney Plus is bleeding cash. They need the subs. They'll keep pumping out Marvel, Star Wars. They need it. Then they should make better content.
just wondering, like, okay, so they make the switch back to TV. Will that fix anything because of
You mean the film?
the? Sorry, yeah, make the switch back to film. Will that make any difference about what's happening with the Star Wars universe based on the people they
I
have working, the stories that they're still trying to tell?
I think so because the people that want to tell the stories are talented people. I think
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like this again, this concept is cool. The Ahsoka show was cool. The idea of Andor being like this renegade, I don't really understand. I don't know how to describe Andor, but it's different. That's cool. We can have different Star Wars. Try it on film, though. I think make Star Wars an event. Personally, I like lightsabers, so I'm always going to show up for the lightsaber stuff. There's Jedi and Sith there, I am there. But the other stuff, I'm sure will appeal to other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
TV should be reserved for smaller stories.
So, and now that's coming is the stuff that Filoni's doing, where he's bringing together all the TV stuff into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
What's your, your anticipation level, excitement level for that kind of stuff then?
Kind of getting lower. I think the only thing I'm really excited for is Ahsoka season 2 and the Rey movie, because I love Rey.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that Rey movie.
Yeah, Rey's is an awesome character.
Fair enough.
Zeddy says, I feel like Dune is this generation's Star Wars. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Ian says, I think this has hurt the chance for any future films being successful. No way the Rey movie doing well with another political advocate as the writer and director. We'll see. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. And at the end of the day, I don't want to get too into the political aspect of it, but there's always going to be people who have a problem with something. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either listen to them or you don't. Personally, I don't think we need to listen to them, but that's just me.
No, you're just making a good show is important.
Exactly. Just make a good show.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. The noise from these folks isn't important. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Zeddy's comment here about Dune being this generation Star Wars? I don't think that to be the case, just because of I don't think Dune is family oriented, and Star Wars is. Like my son can't watch Dune, but he can watch any of the Star Wars movies.
I don't know. I think that it's for adults, maybe like our age, 21 and up. Sure. Yeah, I would say yes. That is the way. But I also think Lord of the Rings is kind of like our Star Wars. That's kind of the way I look at it. Because Lord of the Rings hit when I was, I guess I was already a teenager, but kids can watch Lord of the Rings and they'll get it. So I would compare those two more than Dune. I also just love Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
I think that's well documented.
Indeed.
I love those hobbits. And yeah, Star Wars, like most art, is always political. The original trilogy is about a fascist empire, and the good people still out there trying to bring it down. That too. I can't wait. Well, actually, no, I'm not looking forward to the freakouts when X-Men comes to the MCU. Not looking forward to that. What do you mean they fight for social justice?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, though, so Acolyte, I think, is a fun show, but I don't know. I'm going to keep watching it. I wish that it were a movie. So that's my TV watches. Oh, we got this too. Ian says, make a good show. That was the issue with the agenda. The creators was made very clear before it dropped. The creators said to attack specific people before it even came out. I don't know about that either. Maybe. That's why Disney needs to do a better job, I think, of just reining stuff in. Like, okay, maybe don't say this in an interview. Phil says 2026 potentially could be the I don't know how to pronounce that, Phil. Cinema.
Messiah.
Batman 2 and Dune Messiah.
Or duopoly. Oh, sorry.
Duopoly. Okay, that's just a fun word to say. Then I don't know if I was
duopoly like Monopoly.
I like Monopoly. So since I watched a lot of movies, I just want to kind of do a rapid fire of them, and then stop on the ones I actually want to talk about.
Sure.
Because I know we're getting to Furiosa.
No problem.
I revisited Bram Stoker's Dracula after years. My opinion changed. Yes, I enjoy it a lot more now. I still think Keanu and Winona should not have been in it. That's fine. Inside Out 2 is a masterpiece. Everybody should see it. It's every bit as good as the first one, in my opinion, if not a little bit better, because I do love anxiety. Anxiety makes a difference. I went deep into my list and finally watched Scarface.
Ooh.
I've heard about this movie forever.
Yeah.
I have so many family and friends who love this movie, and I watched it, and after I was just thinking, what is the big deal about this movie? I don't get it. Also, Ray Romano and Al Pacino could have played brothers at some point. They could still play father and son, and I would pay to see that comedy. Um, I rewatched Batman and Robin for a podcast. It's not terrible anymore. It was okay. I saw the TV Glow. Didn't like it. I don't think it was for me. I didn't understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't ever want to watch it again. Finally watched Galaxy Quest, which has been
Oh.
recommended to me for years.
Oh, can we talk about this? I got an hour. Let's talk about Galaxy Quest for an hour.
Let's do it.
Please?
Let's do it. I liked it. It was pretty funny. I don't think it was the laugh fest I'd heard, but it was fun.
Sam Rockwell's guy? Come on.
When he started, like that scene where they're on the planet and he freaks out because they want to do the plan that killed him in the episode. That was funny. I'm just guy number 6, or crewman number 6.
I love Galaxy Quest so much. I want to see the R-rated version. There's an R-rated version.
Well, I think this might be the comment of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Ian says you didn't like Scarface. Why don't you try sticking your head up your ass, see if it fits? I'll see what I can do. Maybe after the show.
Mm-hmm. Off air.
Off air. Well, anyway, yeah, the Galaxy Quest is really fun, and I like the just the idea of it, because that meta. It's a TV show, but we're in the thing. That's fun, and the convention aspect was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Being, because I've been to conventions, that's kind of what they look like.
Right.
And you kind of get like, maybe this is how it is behind the scenes, that nobody gets along, everybody's late. So that was cool. I like the updated effects, like especially the main villain. Makeup, whatever that was, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the cast was just great.
Yeah, Alan Rickman, man.
I love Alan Rickman. So he was my favorite character here.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know this. And they were allegedly working on a Galaxy Quest show for a streamer prior to Alan Rickman's death, according to Tim Allen. I would have watched that.
I would have. Oh my goodness, yes.
See, I don't even remember. I've already blocked that movie out. Not for me. Anthony said, I saw the TV Glow. I was surprised by how poignant it was. I just didn't get it. I don't know. Galaxy Quest was great. Hitman was the Glenn Powell movie. This was a ton of fun. I like this a lot. Glenn Powell is so charismatic, and the characters he does throughout the film are great. But I didn't know what it was going into it. I thought he was an actual hitman. He's not. Okay, you didn't know that either.
No, I thought he was a hitman. He changed disguises all the time.
That's what I thought. No, he is a college professor who moonlights as like an undercover, kind of not a cop, but he helps the police.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's not what I thought it was, but it's really fun. He makes the disguises though to appeal to people. It's pretty fun. So that was good. And last night I saw Daddy-O with Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn. I don't know how this is the third movie I've watched with Dakota Johnson this year. I might be a fan. I don't know. This is the best of the 3. I mean, Madam Web is pretty fun, though. Maybe. Probably not.
Yep.
Yeah, but Daddy-O was great. It's very kind of intriguing. So it's a 2-hour movie that takes place entirely in a taxi cab. And it's just a conversation between 2 characters. There's only 3 speaking roles in the entire film. So that's pretty impressive. And if you don't like the leads, you're going to have a bad time.
I was going to say, you're going to have some trouble there.
Right. If you have a problem with Dakota Johnson, you're going to have a problem. Although, she is really good in this. I think it's fantastic. And I tweeted this, but it's one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again, actually. at some point.
Sweet.
I think you'll like it, Aaron. Whenever you get a chance, check it out and let me know. Ian says Inside Out 2 is my most anticipated, not out here until mid-July. And it's called Inside Head over there. That's interesting. You ready to talk about Furiosa?
Ready, steady. Let's go.
You start us off.
When did you watch Furiosa? I watched it, I can't remember, Wednesday.
I watched it Wednesday.
Last week. Did you? Okay. We briefly talked about Fury Road. I forget what we were talking about. Maybe it was box office stuff we were kind of pushing off of. I don't remember what your overall thoughts are of Fury Road. Mine are, I think it's an incredible movie. One of my favorite movies. We'll watch it any time of the day. It's like one of those, like I'm looking forward to watching it fairly soon, actually, after watching Furiosa. So maybe just some quick thoughts on, Fury Road, if you just want to say concur or whatever.
Cosign. I actually wanted to watch Fury Road and then Fury, right after one another, but I didn't have the time to do it. Fury Road surprised the hell out of me, though, because I hadn't seen a Mad Max movie before that. I was like, hey, that trailer looks cool. I like Tom Hardy. I'm going to check this out. And I walked out of the theater loving it. And it's just one of those movies, like I said, you can just put it on and you get sucked into it. It's not something to watch for like 5 or 10 minutes and walk away. You got to sit there and do the whole thing.
And then Furiosa, for one of the big surprises for me was how different it was from Fury Road. And that was my biggest shock, I think, because I was expecting it to be Fury Road Part 2. I was expecting nonstop action, just more or less the same. And I was quite surprised that we got more, more story, more world building, more character stuff between Furiosa and I don't remember the guy's name. No, the other guy, her buddy.
Like they said his name one time, I think. I think it was Jack.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Jack, that's it. Just the kind of their connection and everything like that. And even just the start with, Furiosa's mother and this, other, the other thing. And then, yes, Demantis, how much a surprise that character was for me, how much he was in the movie and all that kind of stuff. So I love the movie. I think it's incredible. And I think what's most important for me is that Fury Road and Furiosa are not the same movie. It's not the same thing. It's not the same story. It's not the same action. And you can get something from both of them, very different. And I think that's what making a double feature will be so interesting. It's not like you're just watching one story. You are kind of watching one story because we obviously get Charlize Theron's Furiosa and Fury Road, but they just feel so different in a way. I thought it was incredible.
I agree. I'll say it's incredible. But something about it for me, I prefer the Anya Taylor-Joy version of Furiosa than I do the Charlize version.
Ooh, that's fighting words, I think.
Yeah, I think I could hear the people carrying the cross over now. I'm about to be crucified for that one. But I think Anya does a really good job. And I think it's also the material she's given. Because in this, I think Furiosa is allowed to kind of evolve in a way. And maybe it's because you get the kid version who grows into that one. Or maybe that's what it is. But I really like this version particularly. I like both, of course, but I do prefer this one. Fighting words indeed. Okay. Ian just wants to argue with me tonight, I think. I said a Scarface thing. But this movie is, like I said, it's incredible. But another thing that stands out, you and I kind of talked about, was the villain. So in Fury Road, it's Immortan Joe. We really don't know. We don't know what he is or what he does. All we know is he's evil. And he's looking.
He wants his women. Yeah.
Right. He wants his wives. Cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Here, Dementis is the villain, and he's full of personality. Like I don't want to say he's a good time, but
yeah. Oh, he is a good time, man.
Okay. You said it.
I think he's on purpose funny. He's not on purpose funny. He's weird and evil. He's sick and twisted.
And I like that it's not just Chris Hemsworth.
This is Chris Hemsworth, the best thing I've ever seen Chris Hemsworth in.
Yes, I'd agree with that. And I've seen him in some things. Like he tried that racing movie where he was like
Yeah.
serious Chris Hemsworth, and that was cool, I guess. He's been Thor. Extraction is great. You and I both love those films, but this is the best Chris Hemsworth. And who knew sticking a prosthetic nose on him would make such a difference?
All the difference in the world.
Yeah, it really made like, okay, this is different. I like this. So he was a good time, which that makes, to me, that gives Furiosa the edge because the villain. In movies where you have a clear hero and a clear villain, the movie can only be as good as the villain, in my opinion. So here you have the solid villain, and the rest of the movie works because of it. Because if he was just a Morton Joe sitting in the cave doing whatever Joe does, I don't think it would have worked the same way.
Yeah.
I think Rush is the movie I was talking about. Is that Zeddy? Isn't that the racing movie?
Yeah, that's right.
Serious Chris Hemsworth. And as agreed on Chris Hemsworth, just makes me want to see him in more stuff outside the MCU and retire his version of Thor for good. I want him to have one last outing where he can do like this.
Can he act like Thor?
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Like if we can mix Thor from Thor 1 and Dementis, I think we got a winner.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're cooking, as the kids say. I think young Furiosa was even better than Anya was. She blew me away, and I was surprised by how large her role was. Okay, so did you know that half of the movie is young Furiosa? Because I didn't.
No, well, everything about the character surprised me. Furiosa going from a kid and like she doesn't speak the entire movie. What does she have? 5 lines in the entire movie. So the entire character of Furiosa, it's like the entire character of Furiosa surprised me. Dementis surprised me. Yeah, like when Furiosa is a kid, everything that happens to her, like the way she's, integrated into Dementis, and then how she gets integrated in with Immortan Joe, like all of the interesting ways the story went was all very surprising to me. Because again, I went in thinking it was just going to be action.
Yeah.
But we got more story, and the story went a whole bunch of different places. Like when Dementis and his crew show up to the Citadel looking to take it over. And Immortan Joe's like, I don't think so. And
and I like the way they tie the films together. It's very loose. Like they didn't even need to do it.
I don't think they needed to do it.
Yeah, I could have done without it, but it's fine that they did it. It might even be like the arm thing I thought was cool.
Yeah.
The explanation for her arm, that's really all I needed. I didn't need to see the other part of it.
Yeah.
Like the ending thing, I didn't need that. But seeing how she gets the arm ripped off or whatever, that was pretty cool.
And that's the other thing. I was expecting a clean chop, but the way they did it was very interesting.
Yeah, I don't really get how they didn't notice her.
Yeah, they were busy being dickheads.
But movie logic, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. People have been sharing that Thor Infinity War clip on X and remind me of how great he was when his character was taken seriously. What Infinity War clip? Was Thor serious in Infinity War?
Probably just when he shows up and he kills everyone with Stormbreaker.
I mean, that was cool. I also like the scene in Endgame when he kills Thanos. That was a cool scene.
Yep.
Ian said, I didn't love Tom Burke's character. He seemed out of place and not tough at all. Who is Tom Burke?
Is he Jack? Is he him?
Every time I looked at Jack, I was thinking this guy looks like Stephen Amell if Stephen Amell got bit by bees or stung by bees.
He's a little swollen.
Yeah, he got stung by bees in the face. It looks like Stephen Amell. Aaron says, please, for the love of God, spread the word on how great this movie is. Make sure they don't drop money to rent it. I want more of this world. Oh, make sure they drop money. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to do well at home. The same way Fury Road did. Mad Max is not like a box office hit, I think. Because even Fury Road didn't do like amazing numbers. Bring me Furiosa, forget Thanos. I mean, they are friends. Although I did read they did not get along on set. So
no, they did not.
Yeah. I bet that was a Tom Hardy thing too.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's a dickhead.
Yeah, it sounds like more of a Tom Hardy thing than a Charlize Theron thing.
Yeah.
That's just my guess. But yeah, Furiosa was excellent.
Absolutely.
I wish I would have saw it in theater though. I regret not seeing it in IMAX.
Would have been something.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been. Next time, I'm sure they'll re-release it or something.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get a black and chrome edition.
You like the black and chrome edition of Fury
Yeah, I
Road?
thought I watched it once,
Okay.
and that was pretty much it. Kind of like the Zack Snyder's Justice League black and white one too. Like I'll watch it once and that's it, but I'll stick to the color.
I don't like the black and white. Like I've never seen the black and white Logan, primarily because I waited years to
haven't
see
seen that
blood from Wolverine, like cutting people, and then when I finally got it, I don't want it black and white.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it full on. We're still playing. Come on. I think is it Deadpool Wolverine that's getting released there early? So I will see you soon, sir.
I'll pay
I
for
will
the
see you
ticket and the 24-hour flight.
I will see you soon for Wolverine and Deadpool. That's what it's really called. He tricked me, movie ticket. Now, what people don't know at home is Aaron runs the theater, so this is a lie. He doesn't even have to pay for the ticket.
Not much of a payment there.
No, I see what you're doing, sir. I'll still take it though. Thank you.
Okay, guys, that's our thoughts on Furiosa. I think that wraps up our up the show, Chris. If you have anything else you want to talk about,
No, I'm good.
cool. Hit us up with some plugs then.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70. You can also follow the podcast I do with my buddies Anthony Caruso and Phil Walsh over at DC Unlimited Pod. As always, I'd love to follow this show at G of the Geeks. Emmet is better with the rest of the plugs, so he will take over from here.
Gathering of the Geeks. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So just search for us. If you are so inclined, you can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. Zeddy, Aaron, Phil, Ian, Anthony. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you on this fine Sunday evening. In saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Don't get lost in the fog, kids.